There are many unboxing videos for model rockets, but wouldn't you like a real rocket scientist's opinion of the materials and parts in the kit? Today you'll actually find out the inside information so that you know what to look for when you get a rocket kit.
Hi, I'm Tim Van Milligan. You might know me from Apogee Components. I'm a rocket scientist in real life, plus I build model rockets. Today I'm going to unbox this kit. This is the Apogee Zephyr. Before I unbox it, what I want to explain is a little history of the rocket, and then what kind of the components you're going to find inside and how it's going to help you build a great rocket. And I want to show you the end product here first. This is the Apogee Zephyr, and you can see it's a big rocket. It's a 4-inch diameter rocket. It's plastic nose cone, plywood fins. I'll get into that. But I just wanted to show you what it looks like when it's done. Let's go ahead and open this. First you can see we have this colorful face card. We call these the face cards because it's the face of the rocket kit. And I'm just going to open it up here. So the first thing you're going to notice is these big tubes. And as you pull them out, you'll notice that there's a lot of stuff stuffed inside of them. So when you're taking these apart, make sure that you empty them out. Make sure you find all the goodies on the inside. Now, what makes these tubes special is that they are heavy wall. That means they've got a really thick wall. That makes them pretty strong so they can withstand high power motors. Here at Apogee, we like a white tube because when you draw lines on it, they're easier to see. And they paint a little bit easier because you don't have to cover up like a brown paper underneath. So if you're using some cheap paint, these are going to cover a little bit better than just a brown tube. And this other tube has a lot of stuff inside of it. But this tube is kind of special. You'll notice that we've laser cut slots in the tube. And by using the laser, we get them nice and precise. All these parts are just going to pop out like that when you go to assemble the rocket kit. These have through-the-wall fins. That's what these slots are for, because the fins actually go through the wall of this tube, and that makes them a lot stronger because they have something extra to grip to. Also in this kit, you'll notice this is a big vinyl decal. We like to use vinyl for a couple of reasons. One is waterproof, so you can actually put these in water and they're not going to dissolve like paper. Vinyl also has this ability to stretch a little bit because it is a plastic. So if you're wrapping it around a tube or around a nose cone in particular, you can actually flatten it out and push down the edges by stretching it a little bit. Vinyl is a little bit more expensive to create, but we think it's worth it, and that's why we use vinyl here for our decals at Apogee. We roll these up. Always roll, if you're going to roll them, always roll them so that the printed side is on the outside. If you roll them the other direction, the decals want to pop off the paper. This kind of keeps them in tension, so they'll last longer. And that's why we roll them that way, and then we stick them inside the tube for protection. Okay, we also have a 38mm engine mount. Again, this is a heavy wall tube. Again, you want something nice and strong for heavy-duty rocket motors, you know, because this is a high-power kit, so it's going to take big motors. We also include a 36-inch nylon cloth parachute. These are really nice parachutes. I'll go ahead and open it up here for you. It has the feel of silk, so it's very lightweight. And then you can see it's also pre-colored, so you get a nice colorful parachute up in the sky. These parachute lines, I don't know if you can tell, but if you go to our website, you can see right here that we sew the lines on, we do a double loop like this so that they're really strong, so that they're more tear resistant. And it's a ripstop nylon. It's really lightweight. People love our parachutes. These are kind of like the best of the industry. And you'll find them here at Apogee, and it's in the Zephyr kit. We also include a colorful nylon. This is a tubular nylon shock cord. It's actually, if you flatten it out, you would feel that it is a tube. Basically what that means is that it's a complete circle. We just flatten out the end when we cut it. The nice thing about Kevlar, or this color, is that it's really easy to see. Here in Colorado, we have a lot of evergreen trees, and they're short, you know, maybe a little bit taller than a Christmas tree. And if your rocket goes on the other side, or if it drapes over the top, a lot of the times this cord will drape over the top of the tree, and the bright color allows you to see it. And that's why I chose this, you know, fluorescent orange color. I think we're the only ones in the industry that still have these. Also in the kit, you'll get a heat shield, or like here. This one is actually made for us by Dino Shoots. It's a very heavy-duty welding cloth. It's very flame resistant. They're reusable. You'll attach it to the shock cord to protect the parachute. So you're going to wad up your parachute like a burrito and then stuff it inside, and that's going to protect this nice parachute from getting pinholes and ripping, or not ripping, but being burned by the ejection charge of the rocket motor. We're really proud of those as well. Inside the rocket, you're going to find a lot of plywood parts. We have plywood fins and plywood rings. Come on, stay on the table. There's 3 fins, and we tape them together so that they don't rattle around. You can see they got a nice sharp point on them. One of the reasons we tape them is to prevent the bag from being sliced open by these sharp points. But you'll find 3 of them in here, and you'll see these are laser cut. That gives them all the same shape. And then these are the centering rings, and you can see they'll go on the tube, and look how nice of a fit that is. It just stays. Sometimes you get centering rings and then just really sloppy. I spend a lot of time when I'm designing the kits to just get that fit just perfect, because this makes it a lot easier to assemble. It's the same thing with these. These are, I call these the rails, the alignment rails. When you put these rings on, you're going to want them aligned so that the slots here are equal, and that's what these slots are for on the side. So once you get them lined up, you're going to put one on this side, one on this side, and that's going to make those slots absolutely perfect. Because when you put it into the tube, we wanted to make it as easy as possible. So it's kind of like a little 3-dimensional jigsaw puzzle. And the whole purpose of that is to make sure that they're spread just the right width, so that they're, the slot, the tabs on the fins go right inside, and also make sure that they're, these slots here on the 2 rings are straight along the tube. That's some good stuff right there. Also inside of the kit, you're going to find a bag of small parts. This Kevlar cord right here is actually for this ring right here. This ring, when you're building the kit, is going to come on and off. And so we give you this Kevlar cord to kind of weave through those little holes around the perimeter right here. And then you can pull, just pulling on the cord, just pull it off of the tube and pull it out of the rocket. And that's what that cord is for. Plus you've got a big eye bolt right here, and this is where you're going to attach your parachute and your shock cord. You got some washers right here, because when you put that bolt through this centering ring right here, and you can see it has a hole, we want the washers on the back side to provide extra gripping strength so you don't tear out through the plywood. That's why we include those there. Also in here you're going to find 2 rail buttons, and then there's also the hardware to install the rail buttons. And you can see there's something called a weld nut, which is this flat looking like a nut, and then you get a little screw, and those are going to go through these holes, and you're going to actually screw on the rail buttons so that they'll never come off. That's, you know, you make them nice and strong. That's one of the features that we really like about our high power kits as well. Also in the kit, you're going to find the nose cone and the coupler. You can see we have another heavy duty coupler. These are to join these two tubes together. It's really nice. Now this doesn't have a shiny surface because we want glue to really grab onto it. That's why it has a dull surface on it. Our nose cone, you can see it's got this foam on the tip. We learned our lesson when we first got these nose cones. The very first shipment that arrived in, all the nose cones were laying in a box like this, and they were jostling around in the truck, and they actually poked through the side of the box because this is a very sharp point, and a lot of the nose cones, the point got bent over or rubbed off. So now to protect these when we ship them to you, we put this foam on top so that it has a harder time going through the bag. Now this is a heavy duty nose cone. It's plastic. You can see it's a little bit squishy. That gives it a little bit of give because this is a high power rocket. It's going to bonk on things, you know, when it comes down, lands on the ground. So it gives it a little bit of resilience. It's got this really big, we call this the parachute loop. When you put your parachute, you'll do the parachute and the shock cord to this. And you can see it's a nice wide area right there to attach it. You can actually get a 1-inch wide piece of nylon on here if you had a wider one like this. And it's got a lot of area. If you notice, one of the unique things about our nose cones is most of the companies that make nose cones, this slant area right here, what they'll do is they'll stop it about right here, right in the middle. We actually go all the way across to make this wider, and that's the reason we do it. It's to make this more area to attach your shock cord and your parachute to. The fit on these nose cones, again, is just really nice. It's snug enough but loose enough to come apart real easy. Again, we spend a lot of time on the fit of parts in our kits so that when you get it, you have less frustration. And you can see that's just a nice smooth seam right there. That's, you know, real good aerodynamics. I love this nose cone. A lot of people love it. It's got a special shape. It's called an ogive. An ogive is if you take a round circle and you cut a chord on it. So like this, if you took a circle and you cut a chord, so now you're just looking at this half right here, and then you cut that in half, and then just this segment right here, if you rotate it around, that's called an ogive. So this nose cone right here is actually part of a real circle. And it's called a 5-to-1 ogive. So the length is 5 times the diameter. A lot of nose cones, they use a 3-to-1 ogive shape. So that just means that they're shorter. We just kind of like this long shape because it just looks cooler. There's nothing really special about it. It doesn't make the rocket go any higher. It just has a nice shape to it though. Also included is, like I said before, is the face card. Don't lose this. It has our web address on it because you're going to want to go to our web address because we have a lot more information about the kit on the website. But it also lists all the tools and the materials that you're going to need to assemble this rocket. The instructions are right here. This is the Apogee instructions. I think are the best in the industry. So basically they all look the same. You have a picture of the rocket plus a little description of what it's all about. Plus you have the parts that go into the kit. So as you're taking things out, you can find the parts. And if you're missing an item, you can just call us up and say, this is the part number that I'm missing. Typically with an Apogee kit, that's not a problem, but we did put it in there just in case. You'll also find the tools and the materials that you'll need to actually assemble this kit. They're also on our website, so don't worry about that if you're just starting out or if you lose your instructions. You can always find them there as well. The instructions are also on the website, so if you actually lose your instructions, you can just download them as a PDF, so you always have them. Inside, you can see there's lots of illustrations. We don't want to make our rockets hard, and we know a picture is worth 1,000 words. So instead of giving you 1,000 words of text, we can give you one picture. Makes assembly a lot easier. And you can see this is just chock full of pictures on how to assemble the rocket. Okay, so there is more information about this rocket on the Apogee website, as I said. On this particular rocket kit, we actually have assembly videos as well as the instructions. So I've gone ahead and actually built this rocket, and it's kind of like me sitting next to you as you're building it, going through it step by step so you can see exactly how to assemble it. Although this is not a hard kit, we call it a skill level 3. So skill level 3 is about average. It's not like super hard, and it's much, a little bit more challenging than the easier kits. So this is a really good kit for adults. To fly high power, you have to be level 1 certified, and this is a really good kit to get level 1 certified on. When you do certification, basically you build your rocket, and you don't have to be certified to buy the rocket. You just build it, buy it and build it. But to get the rocket motors, you have to go through a process, a safety process called certification. And if you want to go through that, you can contact us and we'll put you in contact with your local club or the National Association of Rocketry or the Tripoli Rocketry Association, because they're the ones that actually do the certification process. We just provide the kits and the motors, and they provide all the safety help and the certification process. So check out the Apogee Zephyr. It's a high power kit, flies on H and I's and J motors. A lot of people ask us, can you fly it on a G? Yes, but most of the G motors that you need are high thrust Gs. So basically they're high power Gs. So you also need to be certified to fly them. But if you are already certified, you can fly this on a high thrust G motor, which is a high, like I said, it's already a high power motor. If you want to fly G motors, I would say maybe step down in size to a smaller kit. Everybody wants to have one kit that does it all. What's the fun in that? I want a lot of kits. One for each particular situation that I'm flying in. So this is the Apogee Zephyr. My name again is Tim Van Milligan, and you're watching our unboxing videos here at Apogee. So thanks for coming. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That tells us that you like, that this video is worth your time. And then if you really like it and you think it's worth somebody else's time, hit the thumbs up, because the thumbs up tells YouTube to spread this video as far and wide as that they can to other Rocketeers. So if you want to get your friends involved in rocketry, hit that thumbs up. Also, our videos are only half of the information that we give free to people like you. We also have a newsletter that we put out, and this is like a PDF newsletter that you can download and print out. And we'd like to get you on our subscription list. It's free. We're not going to spam you. It's just once a week we're going to send you our newsletter or a link to these videos that we do, advanced construction videos, just to notify you that they are available and it's time. So come to the Apogee website at www.apogeerockets.com. There on the home page, you'll find a link to our newsletter. We also have a gift for you when you subscribe, just as our way of saying thank you for subscribing. I know you're giving up your email address. Like I said, we're not going to spam you. We just want to keep you informed of great products, kind of like the Apogee Zephyr. So thanks for coming.